What's up, cinephiles? Welcome back to the channel. For today's video, we'll be talking about two Oscar-nominated short films. One is available to watch via Netflix and the other one is free to watch on YouTube. So the first one is Two Distant Strangers, written and directed by Travon. So Phil, what is this short film all about?
In Two Distant Strangers, cartoonist Carter James' repeated attempts to get home to his dog are thwarted by a recurring deadly encounter that forces him to relive the same awful day over and over again.
Okay, so concepts like this, Groundhog Day, usually they're so overwrought and tired, but this is one of the few scenarios that I am not mad for using this same sci-fi concept again. You've seen it from the trailer. This is a very socially relevant movie, especially last year where it's the peak of Black Lives Movement matter. This is a fictional story, of course, but there are some portrayal of scenes here that happen against the brutality of police, along with their prejudice against Black people. So this one really put me on an emotional state. Both actors, Joey Badass and Andrew Howard, did a great job here. Andrew Howard, I've specifically seen him before do a lot of cop roles, and on Watchmen, he's playing the Red Scare. So I know from the short clips that I've seen from him that this is a great actor. So I'm glad that he was given his moment here, especially towards the end. He has this monologue, and Joey Badass here, my heart breaks for this guy, the amount of ordeal that he has to go through. We're talking about a subject matter here that needs to be discussed because up to this date, there is no solution to the prejudice that's happening back in United States and on some parts of the world. So let's just say that the ending, it can land mixed depending on the viewers. I won't be surprised if that's the case because this movie, while it both represents sides of the young Black man here and the white police guy, you can feel that the story could be a bit one-sided. You can also think of this movie as a bitter pill to swallow. Sometimes things are not even achieved through diplomacy, and that's just the harsh reality. Sometimes whatever you do, even if you're just standing, if you have this prejudice against you, you can't do a thing. And honestly, I can't speak for them because thankfully I was never a recipient of those racist remarks because I don't live there. So I truly respect if this type of short film is the one that they need to spread this message. And no matter how polarizing your reaction might be on towards the ending, I think this is worthy of discussion.
Yeah, Kevin, this movie really surprised me. I didn't know a thing about it. I didn't read any plot summary to initially introduce myself into what I'm going to watch. I just opened my Netflix and hit play. I actually thought that this is going to be a romantic film because Two Distant Strangers, we opened up in a scene where there's a man and a woman who just spent the night for the first time. So I was surprised that this was about police brutality and prejudice against African Americans. And it felt super duper smart for them to incorporate the time loop that we've seen in so many movies. It's so smart to me that they incorporated this in this short film. It's just like in real life. These African Americans, it's like they're in a time loop because this police brutality, the prejudice against them keeps happening over and over and over again, and they can't escape that time loop no matter what they do. They tried everything. They tried fighting back, they tried running away, they tried diplomacy, they tried everything, but like in a time loop, it just keeps going back to square one. I also agree the actors here are great. Like you said, we can't really relate to them in a sense that we've never had racist remarks against us because we live far away, but it's going to enrage you nonetheless. Some people might say that this film is probably too much propaganda in favor of the Black Lives Matter movement. Some people might be turned off by this, but really, I think that this is unnecessary propaganda. They've been fighting against injustice for decades now, probably more than a century ever since the original abolition of slavery. This film also just really got me, Kevin. This is one of the best short films that I've seen. I am going to give this a 5 out of 5 stars.
So this one, it's not the most subtle or nuanced take, but I'm not actually mad about it because we have such an urgent and pressing matter here. I will totally understand if some people won't like this because it kind of paints the picture that these cops are, irredeemable. And while there are some attempts of the film to rationalize their actions, ultimately it will depend on you on how the third act plays out. But I do like that this movie ends on a hopeful note. Yeah, that's the power of short films. They need to be something that will stay in your heart. So this one also stayed in mine. So I'm going to give this one a 4.5 out of 5.
For our next short film to review, it's Feeling Through, directed by Doug Roland.
So in Feeling True, we have a late night encounter on a New York City that leads to a profound connection between a homeless teen and a deaf-blind man. So feel, this one is a more nuanced and subtle take.
Yeah. This is streaming on YouTube, so anyone with an internet connection can watch this, and I highly suggest you watch it. First, I want to give a shout out to Robert Tarango, who played Artie, the deaf-blind man.
Yes.
Since this is on YouTube, immediately after watching the video is a recommended video about that actor, and that actor surprisingly is also a disabled actor who's also deaf and partially blind. He was really great here, despite his disabilities, that he can perform his role this good. Steven Prescott, who played Tariq, the teenager who helped this guy, is also great. The short film began with Tariq. He is homeless. He's just trying to find where he can crash for the night. The contrast between these two characters, because he is homeless and while Artie is not, he's trying to go home, but he is deaf and blind who needs the assistance of others to get to his home. It hit me in a way that no matter what you are going through, there's also someone who is also feeling through life, if I may use that title, who is also feeling through life and also going through their own hardships in life. This short film also showcases kindness to strangers. So if you're really just looking for a feel-good movie that's really making you hopeful about the world, I suggest you go see this on YouTube. How about you, Kevin?
Oh yeah, I would definitely agree with you. This short film is definitely what I call a food for the soul.
Yeah.
People don't really give much about the disabled people, whether we admit it or not. And then there's also a small margin of the homeless teenagers. So we have here two underrepresented demographic that their story is being told on screen. So that is always a worthy of a screen time to me. So I also believe in this fateful encounters with strangers because I myself happen to experience that. I don't want this to make this video to be about me, but let's just say that back then I'm having one of the worst days of my life, and then I just received a small act of kindness from a stranger. Honestly, when I went home, I kind of broke down to tears, and those types of moments, they can be really life-changing. And I think that this type of short film will be embraced more by many, just because, I mean, are you a Grinch for not loving a movie about two strangers helping each other? Both of them are having a rough time in their lives, and most especially here, Robert Tarango, because of the current situation that he is in. And I am just blown away by this character because to be a deaf-blind person, it requires you to put a lot of trust to a lot of people, and for the most time, they will be taken advantage. Just thinking that these types of people exist, it kind of breaks my heart. So their eventual encounter, them learning each other in the most profound, that the movie did not need to spell out everything. I like that there's no steering musical score played. And Tariq here, I love that the character journey he had in this short film, I bet a lot of young audiences here can learn. Let's just go down to the core message that a small act of kindness can go a long way. And I truly believe in that statement. So I'm going to give this one a 5 out of 5 stars.
Yeah, Kevin, I agree. The writer-director here did such a great job with these two actors, especially with Robert Tarango. This message is always timely, no matter what the times are. We can get this film like 100 years before or 100 years in the future, and this message would still be universally timely because it's all about kindness, not really thinking that you have it worse than others because others are also going through a lot. It's just a really, really great short film. I'm also giving this a 5 out of 5 stars.
Okay, so that's it for our review of Two Distant Strangers and Feeling True. We highly suggest you guys to watch these short films and let us know what you think in the comment sections down below.
And as always, if you like this video, hit that like button. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to us for weekly reviews of movies and TV shows. As always, we'll see you on the next one. Bye bye, guys.
Bye!